We got Ja King the Divine and Javi Darko coming on. About to invite them. Two young phenoms. Stand by. Peace, peace.
Peace, bro. What's good?
What's good, Javi?
Nothing much, man. Chilling. Just got back from the gym.
Nice, nice. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Nah,
Appreciate it.
of course, it's an honor, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna try and get Ja King on.
Mm.
Did invite him. Give me a second here. IG's been acting funny lately. I don't know if you
Yeah,
do the
definitely.
live much, but it's been funny lately.
Yeah, I felt like they changed the whole format.
Yeah, yeah. Let me get him. Let me invite him back on. Yeah, man. So we got Abyss. Thank you for joining. Yeah, man. Just Fear and Loathing. Yo, that's become my favorite album, bro. Of anyone I've interviewed. I'm not blowing smoke. Like, honestly, bro.
That's good to love, bro. Thank you.
Just to start, you know? Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
And yeah, man. Gonna get into it. Shout out to Jack King. Peace, Oddfather. There he is.
Word. Peace, peace. What's good, Cam? What's good, Abyss?
Have you interviewed with Abyss? With the Abyss podcast?
Nah.
No? Got it. Yeah, man. Dope podcast as well. Dope show. What's
What's
good,
up,
Jaw
y'all?
King? Thanks
What
for
up, y'all?
Yo.
thank you for joining, man.
Yes, sir.
Much appreciated. So I like starting by letting people know, guests know how I learned about them. Um, it basically started with the Maze Overlay interview. I connected with Maze through a homie Shoddy, and Coach attended that. He really liked the interview. He put together the Pro Dillinger interview for me, then the
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Diamond, and we just kept going through the list of artists that he works with. And I was going through the list. This is just before the Mickey Diamond interview, thinking of what's next after Mickey Diamond, and I came across your Spotify. Like he linked me to it, and I just liked the rawness I heard. I liked the introspection, and I was like, I want to interview him. And then after I
Yeah.
found out you're 23, and I don't know why I'm surprised about that, because I guess because I'm just getting older, but
Yeah.
that shit was crazy to me, bro. So yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I be getting that a lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part is like some of our favorite artists of all time, my nigga. Them niggas
Yeah,
was when they made their first like classic. So,
yeah.
you know, just doing what we do.
It's
Right.
true. Like I reminded myself that Big and Pac were like mid 20s, early 20s
Exactly.
before they left, bro. So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, man. So how do you guys feel about your age in the game and like what you've done so far? I was curious to ask you, like, do you guys feel young in the game? Like how do you feel? I thought I'd ask you.
You could go first, Hop.
Word. I feel like we still feel fresh in the game, but we've been
Right.
at it for a while, so we're still very seasoned. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
we know we can hang with the best when it comes to our skill and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
feel the same. I feel like we're young in a sense, but we've been doing this shit for so long and studying the craft for so long. Like we kind of feel like veterans in a sense, but like
Yeah.
we're just trying to play our part and do what we can with this shit for real.
And it's crazy. Like me, I went through both your catalogs. That's what I do. I think that's what makes me different. I actually spend the time. And you could see like jumps in evolution, like in each project still, you know what I mean? It's like you guys are still growing. Would you agree with
Oh
that?
yeah, definitely.
Most
Every project.
most definitely, I think we got like a lot of untapped potential. Even though like we go hard, we study and we write a lot, but it's still a lot to be discovered and found out with what we could do.
Yeah,
Facts.
man. You know, I'm going off script here, man. I got a whole like agenda I wrote out, but what 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 I really like about what you do, I'll start with Jaw King. Like when I went back to the beginning of your Spotify, your other Spotify account, I even peeped some of your SoundClick or SoundCloud
Right.
just to see where you started, right? You always had that raw element, but
Hmm.
what I love is that you've maintained it. Like you've refined your shit, but you're still raw, and I'm glad you didn't lose that because that was the last thing I would expect from someone in your age bracket, like generation. To be honest, do you find that what you do is rare among your peer group? Would you say?
Um, yeah, I think it's rare, and I'm always trying to make it to a point where, like, sometimes I try to appeal to people my age just so they can understand, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not I'm not speaking about anything too different from what y'all speaking about. I'm just doing it at a certain level in depth. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And I always cared about keeping that rawness in my music. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hmm.
And I think at some point for me, anyways, you know, I'm 42, just to put it out there. I remember when like Bad Boy was popping off, and then everything got nice and clean in terms of even how you wrote your rhymes, make it digestible. Even
Yeah.
Jadakiss, like that street shit, but he was getting nice and clean. I just feel like overall, like the game got a lot cleaner. But I love hearing these kind of flows, man, and
Right.
deliveries that you two bring to the table, man. So it's much appreciated as a long time fan of hip hop. I'll say that. So
That's
Thank
yeah,
love,
you.
man.
bro.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
I feel like you know, also too, me and Hav, like, we real honest with ourselves. So we always trying to find a way to still be as transparent and original and raw as we could be,
Yeah,
but at the same time still like appeal. You know what I'm saying? And not only appeal to the grimiest of the underground, but to other people who may just want to hear a boom bap song or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's intelligent shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's not mindless shit. Like I
Nah.
feel like your guy's style. Like you're rapping about whatever you see, but it's not a freestyle, man. It's just
Mhm.
you're not afraid to talk about whatever you see, man, and you put it in poetry. It's poetry, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's moving fast, the visuals and shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. Like I see the journey in my head. You know, when I listen to an MC, like yeah, it's dope. So yeah,
Basically.
man. Yeah, man. So, you know, Coach is a huge supporter of you guys. I wanna quote him because I got back to
Mhm.
Coach. I was like, you know, after I peeped some of your material, I'm like, you know, these kids are not kids. Pardon me, but I'm gonna retract that. I apologize. These
Mhm.
guys are amazing, right? And he's like, I told you this kid is special. This is about you, Joaquin.
Mhm.
He's like, the universe chose to connect us to make sure the culture stays intact. That's his
Right.
words, bro. Do you know he talks about you like this to other people?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like he's called me a few times and said shit like that. And nah, it's dope when like somebody that's not close to you, or not that they're not close to you, but they didn't grow up seeing you, you know what I mean, have that type of faith in you. So it's
Yeah,
really dope, you know what I mean? And I feel like in ways like that shit is very true, you know what I'm saying? Because Coach is very about this culture, and so am I.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
love that shit. And he one of the few people that really put a real battery in my back to keep going with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And I just lost my bearing here, but yeah, man. So you two, you know, you guys got a lot of life experience. Do you find that people ever try and like big bro you in the game? Like,
But
like I feel like we're gonna get into your life experience, man. You guys have lived a life. You know, I've listened to your music. Do people try and big bro you ever in the game? And if so, how do you respond to that?
Go ahead, Hop. You can do your thing.
yeah, I feel like they do that all the time, especially if they're older.
Yeah,
But at a certain point, me and Ja, we don't really talk shit or try to convince people. We let the music speak for itself, and that's
yeah,
that.
man.
Once you hear
Yeah,
that, once you hear us spit, all that little bro shit kind of go out the window,
yeah,
in my opinion.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh, go ahead.
Uh,
Apologies. Go
I
ahead.
was going to just add the Hav shit, not too much, but I feel like me and Hav are like very like, you know, stoic type of personality, so we don't really try to prove or yell to people that, you know what I'm saying, we are who we are. We just let that shit, you know,
It,
speak for itself.
it's dope,
Right.
even stylistically, and the way
Hmm.
you put your rhymes together. Like even like the words you hang on in your rhymes, the words you repeat. Like you don't give a fuck about conventions, bro.
Mm-mm.
And that's the way hip hop should be, man. But I feel like even people you would say are dope, a lot of people you say are dope, 50% of what they're doing is like conventional shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you agree, but you know,
Nah, like even in the underground, I'm seeing it's a lot of trends and like you, as you said, conventional shit that people see that works, but that ain't hip hop. You know what I mean? Like hip hop is telling your truth and being original as can be. So that's the part of the cloth we represent. We don't give a fuck. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
You know.
and,
Hmm.
and it shows. And like, I mean, you guys are unfiltered. You get vulnerable, like childhood traumas. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna get into all of it, man. People need to listen to the music, suicidal ideation, deaths in the family. Like you don't, people don't go there. They don't level with their listeners. I feel like your generation. I mean, you tell me about your generation. Like, I think they could benefit from people like you that level with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not speaking down to them, but like, yo, like we're all going through some shit. You let me know what you
You
think.
go first, Hop.
Say that again, because the mic cut off. I had to like shut off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I feel like you guys level with your audience because you get vulnerable, right?
Hmm.
You're not talking down to people, so to speak. You're saying, look, I'm going through shit. I've been through shit. I'm trying to figure this shit out. And yeah, I think the game needs more of that. I don't know if you guys agree, but
Yeah, we just
oh, sorry, particularly you, like your generation. There's a lot of crazy shit going on right now. I think they
Yes.
could benefit from hearing artists like you
Yes.
leveling with them instead of talking down to them. Like,
mhm.
look at all the material shit I got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you let me know what you think.
I feel like just our generation, we're starting to have a lot more conversations around mental health and things you go through in general.
Yeah,
So when we express ourselves, we're very introspective and we always want to go that level with it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And express ourselves 100% and don't hold back. And sometimes that shit gets uncomfortable for people. Sometimes, you know what I mean? It may be a little harsh or too much, but it's
yeah,
real. You know what I mean? And that's
yeah.
why it resonates. And as long as it resonates, like, don't really matter.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like when hip hop, sometimes the narrative of an artist or like what a rapper is about is always the same. And I feel like there's multiple perspectives you could speak from, especially when you go through this life shit. And I feel like me and Hobbs speak from, you know what I'm saying, a certain perspective that not everybody is brave enough to speak on, because we're
Absolutely.
not trying to convince you that we're you know, we thugs or we fucking crazy or we be in the streets. We're just trying to convince you like we're niggas that see and understand a lot of shit that's going on around us, but we chose to be who we were going to be regardless of whatever the fuck was going on. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's the
That
facts.
that's why I put out that statement. You know, I think a lot of people need hip hop to feel fulfilled, like to do some shit to get their voice out. But hip hop doesn't need everyone in return like that. But you guys are a voice that's missing. Personally, that's how I feel, man. So
Right.
yeah,
Because it's raw, but it's very real. I feel like a lot of times you get a lot of like sensationalism and the drug rap and shit like that, and
yeah,
not everybody can relate to that. Because let's be real, not everybody is that bold to go and live that life. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you know, we just talk from the perspective of young niggas who seen that life, but we chose to do what we do. You know,
yeah.
word.
I peeped one of your interviews, Divine, and you're like you're talking about getting off stage at a show and some artist is like, yo, like why are you rapping, like how are you rapping about this real shit? He's like, I'm not living that life that the typical rappers, like you were open about it, you know what I'm saying? And that shit was refreshing to hear, man. You're like, I'm not doing anything too exciting right now. Something like
Yeah.
that you said. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
like straight up, a lot of people want this fucking action movie shit, and it's like, yo, the majority of people that alive, you don't live like that. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So it's like I'm not about to act like that's what I do, but you know what I'm saying? Not to say that I haven't seen or I don't want to do certain things or I don't be tempted to do certain shit or I don't have those opportunities. It's just I say no. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I think I could say the same thing for Hav too. You know what I mean?
Word.
Yeah.
That, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm baffled that people are still consuming this shit. Like, even if the industry's captured, let's say, and this is the shit they're peddling, I'm baffled people are still consuming this materialism shit.
Yeah.
Like, with what's going on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just baffled by it.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, one thing I'm wondering is, I wonder is how you guys landed on the sound you have. It's fair to say Fear and Loathing in Long Island is a classic sound. Um, then I peeped the Divine interview where you mentioned like your grandfather was listening to Spoonie G, your dad was listening to Helter Skelter, and then it all made sense, like how you landed here.
Hmm.
It's so many generations of hip hop in a household. I find that shit crazy. It's amazing, to be honest with me, because my parents definitely didn't listen to hip hop when I was growing up. So that's cool, man. Um, so I feel like you guys had a whole buffet of hip hop to look at and figure out what the best shit is. What made you gravitate to the style of hip hop that you guys do, rather than maybe take on another sound?
You would go first, Hav.
Yeah, no, we just wanted to be different. You know what I mean? And really stick out from the rest. Like we feel like everybody's being real formulaic with their
Yeah,
approach. And even though
yeah,
they may think they're doing something different, they're really just copying what the next man did and it's getting really repetitive and played
yeah,
out.
yeah,
So I feel like we reached a point in our careers like let's get something different, something that's appealing to the people, but still us 110%. It still got that cinematic feel,
yeah,
that rawness, that vulnerability, but it
yeah,
bangs as well. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's how
Yeah.
that ended up happening.
And on my perspective, I think too, I think hip hop is just so in us. You know what I mean? We're not really acting. It's not nothing we're trying to do. It's
right.
just what comes out naturally.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So, and we was just like, fuck it, we just gonna do what we do. We don't really care about the trends or whoever doing what. Not that we don't like that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Because we see these young niggas and how they live and what they do, so we understand, drill music and all that, but it don't resonate with niggas soul like how the shit that we do does.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that was just what we did.
Got it.
Hmm.
You guys, do you think your audience at this point understands what you're about, or are you still trying to get the message through, or they're still figuring you out?
Nah, they definitely know what we're about.
Hmm.
Just for a fact. I feel
I
like
feel I,
go ahead.
I feel like we got a range because we have like a little bit of an older audience, but then at the same time we have these 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, you know what I mean, that really love what we do. So it's like they're gonna grow up and understand it more and more. I always use the analogy, it's like when I heard Illmatic at 12, well
Right.
really at like 7 years old,
Yeah.
I didn't understand everything,
Yeah.
but over time, you know what I'm saying, I started to grasp what Nas was doing.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what we're doing for the younger kids, and then the older cats, it's something familiar for them, even though it's new and fresh. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
You guys ever get called old school? You ever get that
All the
label?
time.
all the time. Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
how do you take that label? Even me, when I started doing music, I'm not active, but it's an interesting thing to be called old school. How do you
Me
guys feel about that?
me personally, I take it as a sign of respect, because
Right.
growing up, like I've really studied the foundations of this shit, and I can say the same for Ja as well.
Yeah.
So when someone compares us to the greats or like the golden age of hip hop, I feel honored. I don't take that as a slighted
Right.
diss or anything like that. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't take it as a slight. It was at a certain point I took it as a badge, you know what I'm saying, of honor and shit like that. But
Yeah.
now I feel like it's not only old school, but we also like reinventing it in a sense and giving it a new breath. You know what I'm saying? So But I do understand the people that don't listen to this type of shit while they were off rip say it's old school. But I think we put a new twist on it and we give it a new light. So
Yeah.
it's both for me. I like it, and sometimes I'm like, I think we should sit with it and understand it a little bit more.
I agree. I think, like I
Mhm,
said, I think you're forging your own
mhm,
lane. And my job, I'm saying, like, when I interview someone, I'm excited about their work. I want people to know what the fuck they're about. You guys are doing your own thing,
mhm.
even if it's on a old school soundscape, like on the last project,
Right.
so to speak. And the arrangement of that album, Fear and Loathing, was done like to perfection. You know what I'm saying? The
Thank you.
intro too. So you didn't just,
No.
you know what I'm saying? You didn't just try and copycat anything. You definitely came with it, so to speak. So yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, nah, my whole label, Divine, we big on showing homage to the shit that inspired us. So every
Right,
project you're gonna get a little gem, a little if you know moment to that shit that that was before us type shit.
right, right. So Coach mentioned that you played basketball D1. This is probably old, like you probably repeat this shit all the time, but it is interesting. And you let it go for music. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yeah, basically, bro, I was like a, Division 2 high D2 athlete. I mean D1 athlete, and I put it down because my passion wasn't in it no more.
Got it.
I'm big on moving with things with passion, and I just wasn't feeling it like how I was when I was growing up.
Make, makes sense.
Mhm.
Makes sense. I think a lot of artists are torn between what people expect of them. You know what I'm saying? Like to what to do with their life and what they want to do with their life. All that said, with whoever's like talking in your ear, you ever regret your choice?
Not, not at all. Mm-mm.
Dope.
Yeah, I figured like a lot of my life I was always the artsy type of person, but I would try to like, you know what I'm saying, hide that shit and be cool with everybody else, but I'm just not cool with everybody else. I'm not like everybody. So, this is me now expressing exactly who I am, and I'm comfortable with it.
I think that's the trait probably that coach picks up on why he thinks of you as a leader.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I get a sense of it, man. So yeah.
Thank you.
Um, so I wanted to say, and then we're gonna get to you, Javi. We're gonna get into 111. By the way, that shit was a masterpiece. But I just got a few questions for Ja King.
Nah, you good.
Um, some of your prior projects, like the Sun Tzu project and a
Hmm.
couple of others, I'm not gonna lie, man. I think you guys are better read than me. Some of that shit is over my head, to be honest with you.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying. So that's why I wouldn't comment like call you youth. You guys are grown people, man, with life experience. You fucking are well read, by my estimation. Do you
Hmm.
guys read a lot? Is
Yeah,
that a fair statement?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Niggas read and research everything, bro.
That's
I'm
amazing.
talking about
all the
from
time.
from metaphysics to fucking to the simplest shit. You know what I mean? We're so in tune with everything going on. Hmm.
That's incredible. So let me ask each of you, what books have you read in the last year? Can you
Go.
let us know? Give us some.
Got this one
Nothing.
right here. Got
What is
this one
that?
right here.
Fear.
This is the Hermetica. This is about the Kemites, or known as the ancient Egyptians.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're big into history and science, spirituality, all that.
Yeah. Um. I'm right as of now. I'm reading this book called $40 Million Slaves. That's a famous book that everybody usually picks up. But
Right.
it's giving a lot of knowledge on like how they use the black body or just black people to you know what I'm saying, make money for sports, and how it distract black people from kind of
Right.
getting into other things and doing other shit. So yeah, we in tune with a lot of shit, bro. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
A lot.
It remind. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. I'm done. Hmm.
It reminds me of Rakim. From what I understand, he reads a lot, science books too, history, all that shit. So sounds like you guys are doing the same. So that's dope.
Yeah.
So I assume both of you are from Long Island. Is that a fair statement?
I was born and raised, but he just came here like in his later years.
Hmm.
Got it.
Oh yeah, I'm
And
from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in Bed-Stuy,
got it.
and
got it. How, how long did you live there, or like to what age, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, up until like I was 16, 17, but I always been back and forth from Long Island, so I kind of got both experiences.
Yeah.
What happened was I was kicked out of my middle school, so I moved out here for middle school, but I was an athlete, and all of my basketball shit was within the city.
Right.
So I literally would just go to school out here and then go back to Brooklyn to, you know, live my life and shit like that and play ball. So, yeah.
Got it. So I'm from Toronto, you know, essentially born and raised. I've always been fascinated with like NY hip hop, you know, that's my thing. I'm curious, as someone that grew up in Bed-Stuy, like ask you, like, what does Jay-Z mean today to Bed-Stuy, to the people that live in Bed-Stuy? Can I ask you that question?
For a certain era, like especially like 35 and up, Jay-Z is everything for them. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He showed them the way, he showed them how to dress, showed them how to talk, and especially for a lot of drug dealers at that time, you feel me? Like he's everything. I think for my generation, we idolize him, but for a different reason. It's more for the billionaire status, for how he moved after he was a celebrity, and not so much of what he did before he became a celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So wanted to ask you guys, like, how would you describe your lives growing up, if you care to share, you know?
You go ahead.
Definitely just a lot of varied experiences. That's all I can say, and just shit that you learn from. Like, seeing all types of spectrums and all type of stories unfold, whether we were in it or not in it, but
yeah, I would add to that. It's a lot of like just varied experiences, whether niggas was in it or not. I feel like I always come across people who have the wildest stories and like to share them with me. So yeah, you know, I learned a lot through people, you know what I'm saying? But I also had my little experiences and my humbling moments in life too.
Got it. Got it. So in my opinion, you don't get two MCs this out of the box and talented on a joint album very often. It's part of what makes the Fear and Loathing special, in my opinion. Coach, that said, Coach told me you guys had it kind of rough coming up with music, like maybe getting made fun of. I don't know if that's the right word. Is that a fair statement? Or
you go
people
ahead.
understand where you're coming from?
Like make fun of like the subject matter for the album?
The sound or anything. I don't have full insight into that, but he said, like, you know, you guys worked hard to get here and went through a lot, like in terms of pushing your music. Maybe you could put it another way if I got it wrong. So.
Yeah, there was a lot of big bro energy, and there was a lot of people not really understanding the art and what our mission was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we definitely made attention with this album. It's like, no, regardless if y'all feel it or not, like this is what it is in its most perfect form as of right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel the same. I feel like when it comes to the older underground scene, we was kind of misunderstood. But when it comes to like, you know what I'm saying, some of these younger kids, they love it. They gravitate towards it. It's a story they can relate to because that's kind of like their lives. You know what I'm saying? But it's weird because we appeal to younger people, but at the same time we appeal to older cats, but sometimes they may not always understand what we're doing or how we're doing it. So, you know, we just kind of looked at it as a little weird or a little different, but that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's good.
Absolutely. So, you know what? Like, when I hear you guys rhyming, I'm like, I think every MC or artist, when they're growing up, developing their craft, they bounce their rhymes off their homies. I just don't imagine, like, other than you two, a lot of your homies, like, getting what you're doing, you know what I mean? To say, is that dope? Is that whack? Because you're so in your own lane, but I feel like you guys probably push each other to fucking keep going.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement? Like,
yeah, it's definitely a steel sharpen steel situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
We really just dojo sparring when it comes to this rap shit.
Yeah. I feel like, honestly, son, it's a lot of me and Hive blocking that shit out and saying like, yo, fuck it, we don't care. Like, them niggas don't matter. Them niggas just have opinions. You know what I'm saying? They're not really understanding or taking the time to do it. So
Yeah,
that's what it becomes. We don't really care at a certain point. It just be me and him locked in.
yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
amazing. It's
Mhm.
amazing. Um, so so Divine, you told me that you made an album. You put on an album when you were 17 that went viral. I
Yeah.
think you said it pulled down off of Spotify. I might have caught like a single or two off of
hmm
that. Can you let us know what happened?
So basically, I changed my name on Spotify, and I didn't change it on some drastic shit. But basically, my name was one word. It was Ja King the Divine with no spaces, and I put spaces in between it. When that
Right.
happened, Spotify basically did some weird shit and made me two different separate accounts.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
started recording and putting all my music on the Ja King the Divine with spaces in between. Spotify tells me they took that, quote unquote, took the album down, but I can still see the statistics and the numbers for the album
yeah,
and
yeah.
what the album is doing. And yeah, it went viral on fucking TikTok. Mind you, I don't even use that shit. I
Really?
thought TikTok was really corny, but
Right.
it went viral on TikTok and Instagram. And the dude that posted about it, I gave him like his biggest numbers on both of those platforms. And then the
W-
album kind of took off from there.
Was it a single that made it happen? Was it a review or like what triggered that chain of
It
events?
was the single of the song called Sean and Marlon. Is currently at like 43 million
Holy shit!
plays or something like that.
Holy
And then
shit!
yeah, and then at a certain point I had 200,000 monthly, then 100,000, and then
Mm.
I was getting all these DMs. So it was some surreal shit. You know what I'm saying? It felt crazy.
How does it feel when you go viral like that? And like, do you feel you like I discovered you guys really within the last month or so, right? But how does it feel when that happens? Are you trying to regain that? Like, what's your mindset, right? Because that must be a trip when you go viral like that. And then what? Now what? Now what do you do?
It's it's dope on one level, then on another level, it shows you the smoke and mirrors of this industry at this point. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So it's like I got a lot of love, but I feel like for any other artist, that would have been a moment to kind of fully take off. But for me, I
Right.
had to figure out how to capitalize and you know what I'm saying, off of that moment. And I don't know everything. I'm still learning a lot. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, the album is still doing what it's doing. I'm still learning. I'm still making, a profit and fans off that album. I
That's
just
dope.
couldn't um monetize and do the most with it how I should have been. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Um, but I'm still grateful. It's a dope ass moment type shit.
Maybe I could get my hands on that project somehow. Is it possible?
As a physical,
I don't know. Anything, man.
It's still
yeah,
Whatever. Physical.
yeah, most definitely, bro. I got you. Hell
Dope,
yeah.
dope, dope, dope,
Yeah.
dope. I did cop the Fear and Loathing, the digital. I did cop
Oh,
that one, but yeah.
okay.
Um,
Mm.
so what else I like about your music? So Fear and Loathing in Long Island, man. I actually think that was both yours best, most balanced work, well written, cohesive, sound quality, the whole thing. To me, it was like one long psychedelic trip, and you're processing like past traumas, the meaning of life, being shackled to the physical world, which is Long Island.
Yeah.
Let me know if I've described it properly, and what sparked that album.
Go ahead, Hal.
yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and we wanted to paint the picture of literally everything you listed, and we took a huge inspiration from the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie. We kind of
Yeah,
studied Hunter S. Thompson and his style of writing, and we just wanted to tie
right.
this through his lens, so to speak.
Yeah,
Yeah. Me personally, you know what I'm saying? Even though I like to be as raw with our music and as free, I do feel like once we got some direction from Coach, that that album became our most balanced out and most, you know what I'm saying, re-listenable album.
yeah.
So I agree with you, bro. You kind of hit it on the head.
Salute to Coach, man. Like I've been building with him, and I'm just really getting to realize what he's doing for artists, man. It's pretty dope, man. So,
Yeah.
so salute to Coach. I actually want to quote something since we're talking about Coach on Musket Leather. Ja King, you're like, Coach told me you ain't got to write too much. Shit's yours. Make a couple changes and maneuver. I didn't make it rhyme, but the point of the question is, what adjustments did Coach tell you to make?
Yo,
If you care to share, if you care to share.
in simple terms, man, my nigga, like yo, less is more, bro. You don't you have, you know, he would tell me like, bro, you have some capabilities and the type of potential where you don't really have to always overdo yourself or prove yourself as a rapper or a writer or a technician. You could literally get on that track and be free, and you will still have the same impact. And then, you know, once I learned that shit, I stopped overthinking the shit. You know what I'm saying? And it made for better music as an artist type shit.
Right.
I could give him that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it Bat Country? That's the opening track, like after the intro. Pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking those opening bars, like the first, I don't know, 60% of those bars was the craziest intro bars I've heard in a long time. Like, I'm just gonna say it reminds me of Illmatic, not just because of the sound of the beat. It doesn't sound the same, but just the vibe. I'm gonna quote it for people. Maybe everyone knows this, but I'm gonna quote your bars if that's cool with you. The wicked journalist, my brain has been laced by the local herbalist. Mother married a deadbeat, buried beneath her curves and hips. Disassociation with social life left me cold and sice, is it? No suffice, most of my homies flowing in poltergeist. Lacking optimism, I need product, got no pot to piss in. Shots of ayahuasca acid drops till it shocks my system. Jaws a victim. They say I'm sick in the mind, raping the face of Mother Nature, causing ripples in time. Bro, when I heard that shit, I'm going to be honest, I probably looped it 20 times, bro. I'm not even lying, man. Just your bars alone, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, when I heard that, I'm like, yo, like, I feel like I'm listening to a three-dimensional artist, and I'm about to get into some shit with this album. Like, this is going to be something different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Yeah. That was most definitely like the purpose, you know what I'm saying? What it was, you know what I'm saying, I gotta give props to Hive because I rewrote my verse. You know what I'm saying? I had a different verse on there, but I heard how Hive came and I said, hell no, this nigga is smoking me right now. So I came back, you know, I wrote the first couple lines and that's what it became. But I thank you, bro. That shit meant a lot for real.
I'll be honest, I don't know how raping the face of Mother Nature causes ripples in time, but that shit was so crazy. It reminded me of Nas's line, when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. I don't know why.
Yo,
Mother Nature and like, I felt like there were some parallels here, bro. It was crazy.
That one line is the bar for every verse. That one line is what I want to do with every verse. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Who did the production on that? I know you guys produced too, right? Both of you?
Yeah.
So did you guys produce that?
We produced a couple joints on the album.
Right.
Yeah,
it was curated by us, but we had hands with other producers.
That song was produced by Wavy the God, the intro.
Right.
One of Rome Street's main producers and shit like that. He gave us that beat.
Nice. So wanted to ask you, actually, how you guys doing for time? You guys cool?
Yeah,
go a bit longer?
We're chilling.
Oh, okay, cool. You know, you guys talk about 5% nation stuff. If I got it right, you talk about God, religion, Satanism. I mean, you guys have been through a lot. I'm sure it shapes your belief system, but what do you guys follow at this time? What do you guys believe in at this time with your life experience, man, and everything you've read? What's your belief system like?
You would go first, bro.
I don't really have a specific belief or anything. I would consider myself an atheist, but I do believe there's some force out there that's guiding us and keeping shit going the way it is. So
Right.
I just believe in that, whatever that is.
Got it.
Yeah. Me personally, man, I believe in a God and a higher power, but I don't believe in following no monotheistic religion or one thing.
Word.
I feel like, you take pieces from everything you learn and you kind of, make your own truth
Right.
and you take your ego out of it. You know what I'm saying? You just be real and raw about it. So that's where I'm at with it too.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So, want to switch to Javi for a second, man. So I went back through your catalog. 111, bro. That shit was a masterpiece, man. Like, like I don't throw that. I don't call much a masterpiece. Like, I don't throw that word around lightly, man. Because to me, that's like your life story. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
man. Or a big part of your life story, bro.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, it's an autobiography, to be short, but word.
Yeah, like, and I mean, if anyone hasn't heard it, I recommend you peep it as a piece of art. You're really exploring your traumas, childhood abuse, neglect, drug abuse. That's like, man, you've been through it. So it was an intense listen. But to be honest, even me as a grown man, right? Let's say, I was like, these guys have been through some shit. He's been through some shit. If he's still standing, I'm dealing with some shit. I could still stand too. And I think a lot of people, young and old, can get that. I was like, bro, this album has to be re-engineered and fucking sent to the moon, bro. I'm not lying. That's what my mind was thinking, bro.
That's a fact.
So
Definitely, bro.
yeah, man. Did it take a lot for you to make that album? Like what did it take? Was it easy to let it out, or?
Yeah, it was a lot of processing and a lot of intense reflection, you know what I mean? And a lot of the stuff that I rapped about, the wounds were so fresh that it was a grueling process, but at the end, it helped me heal from whatever I was going through. It helped me move on from it, and I got a beautiful piece of art out of it. So word.
And I just want to say, you know what I'm saying, watching him write that project, make it, and produce it was one of the most, like, I don't know, humbling and amazing moments I've personally experienced through music, because I've never heard somebody write that descriptive and that vulnerable, and then when you see the person, you know him, it hits different, bro.
Yeah.
You realize you're into something very special and rare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the samples and the beats, you know, they were like off kilter, for lack of a better word, man, and it matched just, I don't know, it matched the what's the word, man? It was twisted, man. Like some of the things you face, man. The sound matched the words. You know what I'm saying? Like perfectly. Did you produce any of that? Did you pick the samples?
Yeah.
Did you work on the transitions? Because all that shit fucking flowed, bro. And the outro, I think you're trying to recreate you overdosing and like your loved ones talking to you, like their actual voices, trying to fucking pull you back in. That shit was intense. Anyways, I'm talking too much. What production, like what parts did you produce of that album?
I handled the majority of the production in that project. I only just didn't produce 2 beats on that album. But
holy shit,
beat on that album, that was on me. And the curation, the skits, Ja helped me with like the input with the skits and formatting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was me, 110%. You know what I'm saying?
You said your engineer, you told me he lost the files, right? Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're not to that. That was crazy. That was ridiculous.
And you're like, I might have to recreate it. Do you think you could recreate it? Like, can you actually recreate that emotion? I don't know if you can do it twice.
I can, because a lot of those takes were not first takes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was a very... I feel like that was like an acting class for sure. I had to recapture so many emotions and so many strong emotions that now, like when it comes to redoing a take, I don't fear that at all.
Got it. A lot of what you guys rap about, especially 111, you talk about psychedelics and mental health issue. Like, how important is psychedelics for your overall well-being, man?
I feel like
I'll ask both of you, because both of you are seems to be into that, right?
I feel like it's very medicinal if you use it in moderation. I'm talking like 1 to 2 times a year, if that. And it can be a really introspective and healing experience that can teach you a lot about yourself and the world around you and how you maneuver. But at the same time, like it's easy to get lost in the sauce if you're not careful, disciplined, and informed.
Right. I'm gonna do one long quote of yours from that, if that's cool
Yeah,
with you. You're
cool.
like, transcendental meditation lifting me beyond all the simple shit. I feel a shift in my energy, something telling me to leave my physical form and disperse into energy. Until then, making music is the remedy for self-destructive habits and suicidal tendencies. Biggest enemy, the man in my reflection, bipolar, schizophrenic, manic, and depressive. Lately, psychedelic therapy, my obsession. Open my mind and realize that life is like conception. Any thought I think in my head, I can manifest it. The greatest lesson I learned is learning changing perception. So I guess psychoactive drugs is what I'm ingesting, taking trips through my mind while trying to find the message.
Yo,
With the warmness of the beat,
yo,
that shit was money, bro. Like, you know what I'm
yo.
saying? Like you hit the nail on the head with the sound and the bars.
That's
That's
love.
when it's in, you know what I'm saying? So
I feel like, son, you gotta have a certain like type of brain and live a certain type of a lifetime to even understand where that nigga was coming from with that. Like that's not even just hip hop shit. That nigga's a writer.
yeah,
But I'm gonna be quiet, bro, because I'm a fan at the end of the day. That shit is crazy to me.
yeah.
Yeah, like you said
I
on the bottom, hearing someone else just say that back to you just blew my mind, bro. I don't know. That's
yeah.
that's that is
Did,
crazy.
did, did I do a decent job?
You did it perfectly. That's what creeped me the fuck out. That's why I was like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, yeah. But oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I want to for anyone that's tuning in that hasn't heard it. Here's how I would explain the sound. I feel like Eminem inspired you a touch. Is that a fair statement?
Definitely.
Okay. And I feel like it's like Stan, but imagine a whole album of Stanness, that track and like the shit you're leaning into, but like real life shit, guys. This is not a joke. Like this is real life. That's how I would describe it to someone that's never heard it. So I don't know how you feel about what I just said, but yeah,
Yeah, no, I I agree with that statement. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got that moody feel to it. It definitely has that like vintage Eminem type of essence. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah.
definitely a big inspiration for me growing up and when I first started writing.
Dope, man. So I have some closing questions. I tailor make them for every guest I have. So let's see. What is the significance of knowing hip hop history to you guys? Thought I'd
That
ask you.
that shit is very important. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to Divine. I think one of the things we all do, we get in this chat and we sit there, we send each other videos on what Rakim was doing, on what Biz Markie was doing,
Right.
on when a lot of these cats and names that you don't remember, the Jungle Brothers, whoever, you know what I'm saying, Funkadelic.
It's
Yeah,
crazy hearing you say these names, man.
you know what I'm saying? This is the shit we about. It's
Right.
really about getting to the essence of this culture, understanding it, and figuring out how we could get back and flip this shit. And we take that part very serious. You know what I mean? And we feel like that's why a lot of hip hop is confused and lost because they don't understand the roots of it. You know?
Yeah.
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 Right.
So wanted to ask you guys next question. Do you think there's a rift between young and old people in hip hop, and does it even matter that there is one? If there is
I,
one, in your opinion?
I think there is a rift, but people put way too much emphasis on it. You know what
Mm,
Right.
mm,
if you work hard enough, like it's easy to find the medium between the old and the young generation.
mm.
It's just people be way too close minded for that sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I now add on the Hobbs shit, like, it's a rift, but if you take the time to understand it and see the intricacies and what everybody is doing, you can see it. At some point, it is all still hip hop, and it is all, I mean, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, a consistent message, and everybody's kind of trying to speak from the same place.
Right.
It's just all about understanding and skill level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So next question: where is hip hop in 5 years?
In our clutches. In our clutches, all by us. If you ask me.
Word.
Okay. Do you think? Well, where do you think we'll be as a whole, though?
As a whole, I have to say, me personally, and I feel like I'm not alone in this, I'm very scared as to where hip hop is heading, but I do think there's a renaissance bubbling underneath it. You have to dig a little bit to find it, but there is a hip hop renaissance that's where everyone is slowly tapping back into that essence, and soon it'll be the cool thing again. It'll be the mainstream thing again.
So you see it in people you know. You're seeing that.
Yeah.
And people are getting tired of what's getting fed to them. You know what I mean? They want something new. The world does.
I've seen the change in just people I've grown up with, man. Like they be like, I'm tired of the shit they listen to. They just keep listening to it.
Yeah.
So I think Javi explained it perfectly though. Like my nigga, it's a lot of weirdness and awkwardness to where it make you feel like you don't know where it's gonna be or it might die. But at the same time, you got these group of artists that's keeping shit alive and being original. You just gotta dig and find them. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I got a bigger question. Where will the world be in 5 years?
We don't fucking know that.
I want to ask your generation, man, what you guys are thinking.
Yo, you hear how we rap? We thinking disaster, my nigga.
Word. We're preparing for straight apocalypse. That's what it is.
We thinking dystopia and shit like that. I don't know, bro. For real.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So just to close out here, man. This is your first joint album,
Yes.
the Fear and Loathing. You guys plan on still putting out more collaborative albums?
Yeah.
What's the game plan?
Yeah. From the reception of this one, bro, it's like it might have to be something that we keep doing. They love this shit.
Right.
For real.
Yeah, man, I'm a fan. And then the last thing I have to say, I think Coach mentioned you got vinyl dropping. Do we want to plug the vinyl?
Yeah. September 29th?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got
nice.
vinyl, CDs, and cassettes dropping.
And again, just to sell it, of all the artists I interview, and at this rate, I only listen to artists I interview. I don't have time for anything else. That's my favorite album to date. I've been doing this for about a year, just over a year. So that shit is fire, man. I don't say that lightly about anything. So congrats on that. I know you put it out earlier this year, I believe. But any parting words, man? Well, actually, I want to thank everyone that tuned in. Coach, Yamo, Dia, JD, a lot of heads in here. But anything else you guys want to say before we depart?
Nah, just thank you, bro, for tapping in and really experiencing the art like it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, real shit. I appreciate you taking the time to understand and point out certain lines and moments in our rhymes where we show excellence and shit like that. That means a lot, bro, because we put a lot of thought into this shit.
Yeah. And just as a fan of hip hop, you know what I mean? I sidestepped a lot of movements. Like I avoided shit. I missed some shit. But this is the shit that makes me want to stay tapped in. So thank you for putting out that music, the music that you do. And I had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself.
Yeah,
and
of course.
have a great night, everyone.
All right, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Peace.
Hope we could do another soon.
For sure.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Peace.